Are they the 8th seed? Their two starting forwards are both out. Jonathan Isaac and Aaron Gordon, so they're very much undermanned.
That is Vucevic. Seconds here. Where does Fultz go? He'll fire straight away. That's a long two, a little bit off to the right. And that's the part of his game, of course, still heavily in development. Antetokounmpo right to the...
That's a big part of their offense. They need to get out running, and they need to give Giannis a chance to attack before this defense can get back and set and load up to him.
48 to miss three, and then Eric Bledsoe, the quick answer at the... Bledsoe, who arrived late here at the bubble after his COVID infection, did play in the final 5 seeding games. Trying to get his fitness and game back to where it was. Vucevic.
Number 1 defense 2 years running with that philosophy. Shut down the paint, don't foul people, rebound the ball.
Lopez going left hand in midair. He was hit for 20 points in 4 of his last 9 games. They're hoping for more where that came from. 1 point Bucks lead. Vucevic with Lopez on his back. So many different facets to this guy's game. He goes glass and all.
He's got 7 points. Let's think about it. He hit a 3. He hit a mid-range jumper, and he's gone into the post and scored.
So far in this series, All-Star each of the last 2 years for Middleton. 48, that's a good sign. And his thought about it. Tiptoes baseline, goes left, blocked inside. Nicely played by Marvin Williams. So 4-point lead for the Bucks. Middleton got it.
She cared about them and their families as people. She's beloved among the people that we've been around in the NBA.
Happy birthday to Mrs. Van Gundy. And
the same team playing, you wouldn't be here right now in the playoffs, I tell you that.
DiVincenzo slices his way through. So his first. So we had 7 lead changes in the opening couple of minutes here, and since then it's a 15-3 Milwaukee run as they've opened up this 11-point lead. Terrence Ross.
Great effort all the time. You see him running the floor there.
Giannis back the other way for Milwaukee. Kicks out. This is Kyle Korver, the marksman, sticking
like 50, 55 years old and still running out here making threes.
Still looks good, that stroke does. Kem Birch backs down to Antetokounmpo, outside down to Awundu, still 9 to shoot. Awundu taking the temperature of the defense. Outside, here's Ross, shaking DiVincenzo, and hits.
Birch, Awundu, and Gary Clark, who play hard but are not great offensive players, which has been very good here these last few possessions.
Terrence Ross injecting some offense quickly. 6 points in 4 minutes off the bench. Antetokounmpo.
You've got to
once that thing develops, Stan, with some consistency, that's a scary concept for the rest of the NBA.
It is, but I don't think it'll ever get to the point that...
Zero concern. Love what he's brought. 2-time All-Star each of the last 2 years, and it looks like he's calling his own number a little bit more, Stan, a little bit more aggressively looking for a shot so far here in Game 3.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's hit a couple of tough ones. I don't think the defense is out. They've gotten up and contested on both of those. He hasn't gotten anything open or easy.
Nice looking stroke by DJ Augustin, and then Antetokounmpo at the other end.
And I had a sigh of relief.
Giannis turning back Birch. Connaughton thought about it, puts it on the deck, and slithers to the rack.
And the Magic in the first 2 games have done a good job of keeping the ball out of the paint and away from the rim. Not so much today. See baskets for him at the other end. When we talked to Mike Budenholzer today, Spiro, when we asked him how do they get their running game going, he said, we've got to defend better. That our fast break keys off of our defense, we're seeing that today.
Augustin.
There you can see Bledsoe pivoted right into the defender. An excellent call.
So first personal on Bledsoe. See if Orlando can take advantage. So Vucevic back in after a brief rest. Fournier changed his mind. Still 6 on the timer. Vucevic against Lopez. Bottled up. Augustin off 1 foot, and he hits. Augustin, and just like that, it's a 9-point game.
That's a difficult shot.
see the bench scoring, favoring Orlando. Lopez from the corner. Get it.
Drove the ball baseline. Instead of everybody staying spotted up, Bledsoe from the opposite slot ran a diagonal cut toward the basket into the lane. They hit him. The Magic, to have any chance to get back in this game, are going to have to be absolutely outstanding on the defensive end of the floor.
Wesley Matt, 4-point advantage. Orlando has not scored a point in the last 4.5 minutes. Vucevic had those 7 early points. Haven't heard much from him since. Here he comes, leans into Lopez. Pretty. They'll call Stan. We'll send him a text 7:30 every morning after a loss. Just a couple of coaches talking shop. But, a lot on his plate right now as they try to figure things out shorthanded. In meantime, on an open 3. Pretty deflating. Orlando looks up and they're still down 25 points. DiVincenzo creeping inside. Started to turn. What kind of fight does Orlando have? This has been such a gritty team, shorthanded for much of the year. But until this point, they've just been outclassed by the Bucks. Chris Middleton. Hardlow. Rebecca?
Well, guys, the Orlando side was pretty solemn at the half, as you might imagine. Steve Clifford was heated. He told me one thing and one thing only. He said, "We are not competing." He said in the...
It's so difficult for a team shorthanded the way they are, as Antetokounmpo is there to turn back a Wundu. They get it back to Fournier for an open 3 to end the regular season. They only went 3-5 in the seeding round games, as Middleton hits a...
Creating a turnover on his pass out.
Fournier, dangerous pass, broken up. Bledsoe the steal. Middleton ahead of the pack. Giannis extends.
Big guys should be going. Lopez went to contest the shot, did a great job on the verticality. Kim Birch follows right to the rim. There's no one with a body on Birch, and he's available to them all the time when their guy has to help.
Brook Lopez lumbering to the paint, and it's a 31-point Milwaukee lead. Long 3 by Ross.
This team's legitimately 13 deep.
Mid-range jumper by Ross won't go. We saw the numbers by Vucevic. First 2 30-10 games of his postseason career to begin the series. And he has been kept in check so far here in Game 3. Hill from the corner. Coach of the year. What a moment for Nurse.
Well, Nick Nurse winning the Coach of the Year, and then the Coaches Association had co-winners, Donovan the other. So we've actually got 3 of the coaches honored as Coach of the Year, and I'm going to say there's a handful of other guys who you could have done the same thing for.
Maybe there's never been a collection of NBA talent, players or coaches in one spot quite like this, as we've seen during the restart in Orlando.
Example I want to give you, Orlando gets a 24-second shot clock violation. This was in the second quarter. The Bucks are up 30. Every single player...
He comes from 2 things on a basketball team. Number 1, an equality of effort. Guys who will all play hard and get after it defensively, all do the work in practice. There has to be that. And then the other thing is unselfishness. You've got to share the ball. You will have great team chemistry.
So a 19-point game. Orlando, I'll give them some credit. They fought back here in the last couple of minutes. But still a 22-7 run. Antetokounmpo
To be more disciplined.
Ross, most playoff experience on this Orlando roster. Unable to complete the 4-point play. Final 8 seconds. Antetokounmpo, full head of steam down the paint. That is a scary save.
Yeah, they've had trouble today, but I give a lot of credit to the Bucks defense on this. And I like this lineup that the Bucks go to some, and then you put 4 shooters around him. That's something that they will be able to use situationally as the playoffs go on. Giannis, obviously a very tough matchup for any center, and then if you choose to downsize, you're going to have a hard time challenging him at the rim. So that's clearly a moving screen. Nothing to argue about there. Gary Clark was going to go under that screen. Brook Lopez never came to a stop.
Augustin bottled up by Lopez, who was just called for his third personal. Vucevic, his potential, and has had some very big postseason moments over the years. 17-point game, and Augustin. It was 84-50. Since that point, last 9 minutes, Bucks have been outscored 36-17.
Well, Orlando's still fighting hard as Bledsoe makes a three. It's so hard at three, but Orlando executing better offensively, defending better. And Steve Clifford is a guy that's just got a very even demeanor, very demanding, and yet at the same time will move on to the next play. Not going to worry about what happened before. He's going to move on. Good ball Augustin. An unselfish play like we talked about with the Bucks, but he just missed it.
Terrence Ross for Orlando, and this man, Terrence Ross, leading three-pointer, won't go. Augustin, 21 points, 7 of 10 shooting off the bench. Here comes Antetokounmpo into the corner for Lopez. That's a three.
Big, it's laid back in the paint now, takes the guard going to the rim, and Bledsoe veers back to take away that three-pointer that Vucevic had been getting in the first two games and early tonight.
Augustin around a pick. It's a tough off-balance flick. And the rebound by Giannis. Here comes the MVP to the basket.
This is his entire roster. All 13 guys, sometimes a 14th guy at times during the year. They're all going to get.
Budenholzer, of course, two-time winner of the NBA's Coach of the Year award. Did it in Atlanta back in the 14-15 season. And then last year, as he guided this Bucks team to a 60-win campaign. How far can they get here in 2020? That is Bledsoe. Augustin ahead of the field. Kick out pass intercepted by Bledsoe. Slip past the 4-minute mark, fourth quarter, as Bledsoe steps into a three and hit. Stan, you miss this time of year, the grind of a postseason series. You really lock in with your staff game to game, the adjustments, as that hook shot won't go. Well, at least for a couple of days, and maybe for the rest of this round, those questions that were being asked of the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Magic in this second half, Steve Clifford said to Rebecca Harlow at halftime, he just wanted his team to compete, that they didn't think they competed in the first half. But they have definitely competed in this second half. They're going to need to do it for a full 48 minutes to have a chance to beat a Buck.
Talking about Fultz, the former #1 overall pick of the 76ers back in 17. It was just amazing. Steve Clifford told us before the game, 13 months ago, he couldn't even shoot a basketball from the free throw line. No smiles on that Buck sideline as the #1 overall seed in the NBA playoffs.